A date night turned into an investigation case. The movie begins with a scene of kids that are waking up their parents. The parents are awakened by the children's jumping on their heads, and so the day begins at 5 a.m. The husband and the wife have a rather interesting morning by making food for the kids and making sure everything is in order. The kids are usually running around, and when it gets a bit too chaotic, the mother plays the 3 game, which basically means that the mother counts to 3. And if the children haven't stopped messing around, they'll get in trouble. The Fosters go to work and both have a stressful day. It cuts into the evening. Phil comes back home to his family. As they sit comfortably, Katie comes in. Phil asks her the reason she's there, and she says that she is supposed to babysit because they're having a date night. Even though the couple had forgotten about it, they end up having a date night. They go to the same restaurant they go to every time and order the same thing every time. The next day, as Claire and Phil are discussing a book with friends, Phil gets pulled aside by his friend. He is shocked to find out that his friend and his wife were separating. He is even more shocked to find out that they were fine and that they are just excellent roommates. It cuts to Claire, who is talking to the wife. She says the same thing but asks Claire if she feels like that with Phil, whether she feels bored and wants to try other things. Claire denies, but her friend's comments got her thinking. It got both of them thinking. The week goes by and it's time for another date night. This time around, Claire decides to get dressed up and look good for her husband. When she gets down, Phil is more than amazed by her. He promises to take her to the city for a great dinner. Despite having some traffic jams, the Fosters make it into the city. They're met with a couple and assume that they want to scam them. They make sure the couple knows that they know about the scamming, but give them their money either way. The Fosters are, let's just say, a weirdly good couple. They go to claw and try to get in. They have no luck getting a table and are waiting to be called at the bar. A woman comes out and says that a table for 2 is open for the Triple Horns. Phil gets a crazy idea and shouts out that he and Claire were the Triple Horns. The woman takes them to the restaurant and sits them at a rather nice table. After eating and simply having an amazing time, as this is the first time they have ever gone to a fancy restaurant, they get interrupted by 2 men who ask them to have a conversation outside. The couple goes with them thinking that this was all about the stealing of the reservation, but they're surprised to find out something else. Outside, at the back of the restaurant, the couple is asked to give the flash drive. The 2 guys threaten them with a gun and don't believe their story of the reservation. Phil is forced to lie and say that the flash drive is in the woods. They go to the park and Claire realizes that this is one of the most deserted places in New York. Phil tells the men that they need to go to the boathouse. They go to the boathouse and Phil signals to Claire to show them where the flash drive is hidden. They go to the floor and she tells them they need to pry open the boards from the floor. As they're doing that, Phil takes the chance to hit the guys with a bat on the head and they escape. They manage to get on a boat and start it. As they're flowing away, the bad guys see them and start shooting at them. As they get to the other side, they use the boat as a shield and try to escape the guys through the woods. They escape as they get into the city and the bad guys are more than pissed. They go to the police station and as they're explaining their story, Claire sees the bad guys and realizes that they're cops. She gets Phil's attention and he realizes. They try to leave but the officer stops them. They're forced to stay and the bad guys see them. The detective gets called by a colleague and has to leave, but tells the couple to stay put. As soon as the officer leaves, the couple runs out for their lives. They calm down and call the babysitter. They ask her to stay a bit longer and offer to pay double and she accepts after some hesitation. The couple starts freaking out again as they don't know what to do. They can't go to the cops because they are corrupted as well. They come up with a brilliant idea. They go back to the restaurant and tell the receptionist that their friend thinks that he left his phone at the table. So they ask to check his table. As Phil goes to check the table with the receptionist, Claire looks at the reservations and finds Triple Horn's number. They leave the restaurant and Claire says that she knows who to go to. They break into an information office and look for Holbrook Grant. He is a security expert and they need his help to get to the bad guys. On the other side, 2 detectives from the station go to Joe Melito and ask him about the couple. He acts cool and says that he doesn't know anything about them. The couple arrive at Holbrook's flat and they sit down for a chat. The couple tells him all the information they got and he gets to business. At the police station, one of the detectives pulls out images of the Fosters and their break in the information office. The 2 bad cops see this and overhear that the couple had stolen information about Holbrook Grant, and they head there. Over at Holbrook's, the couple gets all the information they need. The number registered to a person named Thomas Felton and they find his address as well. Right as they're about to leave, a doorbell rings and as they look at the cameras they see the 2 bad cops at Holbrook's doorstep. Holbrook helps the couple escape through the back entrance while he deals with the cops. The couple gets into the garage and Phil decides to steal one of Holbrook's cars so they can escape faster. They escape right as the bad cops get into the house. As Phil drives off, the couple gets into an argument. Claire says that Phil doesn't do enough and he says that she doesn't even let him do anything by himself. Phil asks Claire if she had ever thought about leaving him. She answers no, and Phil smiles. He asks her if they're roommates like their friends and Claire says that their situation is different. The couple settles on that and Phil drives off to continue the investigation. They arrive at the address and manage to get into the flat using the fire escape stairs. When they get in, Claire makes a lot of noise and they wake up the people sleeping. Two people come out and start attacking Claire and Phil. Phil pulls out a gun and the two people calm down. We learn that the guy is Thomas Felton, but they call him Taste. Next to him is his girlfriend Whippet. Phil and Thomas get into an argument and even the girls chime in. The couple explains that they stole their reservation and are now in trouble. Thomas is surprised to find out that Claire had stolen their information from the reception. Whippet gets mad because Taste had used their number and they start fighting. They completely ignore Phil and the gun he's holding in his hand. After the argument, Phil asks for the flash drive. Taste gives it to him and realizes that they're being followed and proceeds to flee with Whippet. Phil and Claire are left dumbfounded in the apartment. On the other side, the detectives knock on Holbrook's door. He says that he doesn't have anything to say to them as he's said everything to the other cops. The detective knows what's up and gets suspicious of the two cops. On the other side, as Phil and Claire get into the car, shots break the glass of the car behind them and they see the bad cops shooting at them. Phil gets the gun he stole from Holbrook and shoots at them, but the gun explodes, so he turns on the car and drives off. As they're panicking, Phil hits a taxi coming in his direction. Unfortunately, the taxi gets stuck in their car and they don't know what to do. As they're trying to separate the cars, the bad cops start shooting again. Phil doesn't know what to do and decides to drive with the car attached. The taxi driver on the other side is so scared and wants to stop the car. Phil doesn't like that and tells Claire to take the wheel as he climbs into the taxi while driving. At this point, a lot of police cars are chasing the couple, trying to stop them. Phil takes the flash drive and asks the taxi driver for a device so he can open the drive. When he opens the drive, he sees an inappropriate picture of the Dia. He tells Claire to make a sharp right at the light. She is scared but ready. They turn right but see the NYPD blocking their way. They don't know what to do, so the taxi driver tells them to hit the brakes when he honks the horn. As they're getting closer, they get ready. The stop's in front of them. Claire puts it in drive and Phil in reverse, and they manage to escape. The other cars that were following them ended up hitting the NYPD cars. They manage to escape but soon are hit by a truck that separates the cars. Claire flies off to the other side and Phil's brakes stop working. He ends up falling into the water. Claire gets out to help. He gets out of the water and they continue the journey. They go back to Holbrook and beg him for help, to which he agrees and they make a plan. It cuts to the couple going to the club where Melito is supposed to be at. Claire pretends that she is a dancer there and Phil is her. They are let in and Claire goes on to get dressed. She comes out and Phil doesn't even recognize her. They get straight to the point. They head to Melito's lounge. They try to get in but are stopped by security, who asks them to look at the camera. Dia approves Claire but also wants Phil. When they arrive, Dia asks them for a performance. They do bad at the beginning but they ask for another chance. When they get another chance, Dia starts drooling over them. When he offers them a private meeting, Phil lets him know that he knows his dirty secrets. Guns are immediately pointed at the couple and they are dragged to the roof. At the roof, Phil reveals that the flash drive is hidden somewhere, but if Holbrook doesn't hear from them, every hour he's going to release some contents of the drive. Right after he says that, Melito comes out and starts yelling, "What is this all about?" Phil tells him about the flash drive and the pictures, and the Dia is surprised. Melito has kept dirty pictures of the Dia this whole time, and the Dia thought that in that drive was some secret information. As they're pointing guns at each other, Claire starts freaking out. Phil tells her to calm down and to trust him. He tells her to count to 3 and calm the boys down. She yells at the men and tells them the 3-second rule. Right as she gets to 3, the NYPD's helicopter comes behind her and they start arresting the criminals. The detective comes to the Fosters and Phil takes out the wire he had on him the entire time. They arrest everyone and the couple leaves. It cuts to sunrise. Phil and Claire are having breakfast. Phil tells Claire that he'll do it all again and that he loves her. She comes and sits next to him and they enjoy their pancakes while being hugged. Early in the morning, the couple finds themselves in front of their house. The chaos is finally over and they will see their kids.